It is just me and you tonight. So, before we get this thing going, we have wife not feeling great today, so I'm going to take over in her spot for a little bit. We're going to talk about something that affects not just men, not just women. It's the killer of marriages. It is the separation. It can be a separation in family. It can be a killer in friendships. It can be the detriment to a lot of things. It makes billions and billions of dollars every single year. Now, you're asking yourself, what in the world? How you doing, Ebony? You're asking yourself, what in the world could it be? Jennifer, how are you today? Up, wife, how are you? Your little thumbnails looking beautiful. You're asking yourself, what in the world could this be? This is they target women for it. You guys are the targets. A lot of times men really don't care and they can go about their lives uh, without it. But it is self confidence. The confidence in one's self. By the way, side note, real quick, while everybody's getting in here, I just want you to all know how much I love my wife because right now I am not watching the national championship game, uh, which is football, and I am here with y'all. So, and that's because I love you guys. I love my wife. I didn't want to miss a marriage Monday today. So I decided that I would get on here and give you guys a little bit of my thoughts. And I promise I will be on my best behavior. If anybody's caring, Michigan is up 14-3. So let's see. Yes, Megan. Yes, we need Michigan to win. Up, Ebony must have got wife's package. Okay, so let's get on. Let's get back on topic. Self confidence, ladies. Everything in the outside world targets you to tell you that you are not enough. There are companies that make billions of dollars every year selling you face paint, selling you cream that fixes the bags under your eyes. Let's see. Come on, guys. Spew a bunch of these out because I'm sure you got a whole slew of these products in your home. Because guess what? I know I do. So here we go. Let me give you guys a news flash. Okay, men don't really care about a lot of these things. They girdle wife dirty girdies. Yes, your body magic. When you take that stuff off and everything goes flip flopping, and a guy's like, "What in the world did I get myself into?" My husband and I do not care for Michigan. You know what? I don't really care for Michigan too much myself, but bras, yes, bras. You guys got these bras that make your chest look like upside down McDonald's arches. Like, I don't know what in the world's going on with that. So you guys, men go about their lives not really worrying. You know why men don't worry about it? Because money makes them attractive. Money makes a man attractive. How many times have you seen a guy out with a woman and you go, "Whoa, something's going on there." And 9 times out of 10 he's a real nerdy guy with the most beautiful girl you've ever seen in your life. Cuz guess what? Money makes men attractive. Also, a man's confidence can make him attractive. And there are a lot of times confidence can there's a thin line between confidence and arrogance. There's a very thin line there. We'll get to that in a minute. But ladies, self-confidence can ruin your marriage. It can make you think you are less than, make you think that your man is out there doing something that he should not be doing, and in reality, it's just your own mind messing with you, and sometimes he is out there doing things that he shouldn't be doing, but that's another story for another time. So, you you go out and you read these things and you watch these commercials and you read all why do you think they're that every ad you scroll on Instagram, YouTube, the TV, you name the site, It's every single thing geared towards women. And it's some of the craziest things you've ever seen. They even come with warnings of may cause cancer, may cause anal bleeding. And you guys would go, oh, won't happen to me. Let me slap some of this on. Going to doctors, getting pieces of you cut off and stuffed in other parts so other parts can look better. You go onto these tables. I refuse. A long time ago, I made a promise to my wife, and she'll attest to this. I said, you know what? I will leave your body the same way I found it. So I found it with no stretch marks, no nothing. It was perfect. And by the time our third child was born, it didn't look exactly the same way as it did when I first met her. Now, don't get me wrong, she is still beautiful as you'd never believe it that she's had 3 children. But what kind of husband would I be to allow my wife to go on to a body was top tier, but your body, listen, see, therein lies the problem right there. Body was top tier. But what my wife doesn't realize is her body is still top tier. And not only is it still top tier, but she's also carried a legacy on for from our family. She's created something that I could not do on my own. Now, what kind of husband would I be to send my wife off to a doctor and put her on a table and something goes left? And now I'm left raising these children on my own. And let me tell you something, they would turn out a wreck if I was given sole reins. Okay. I'm the type of dad that goes, oh, bedtime, it's flexible right now. It's up and down. Let's see how I'm feeling in a minute. So what kind of husband would I be to allow that to happen? What kind of husband would I be if my wife decided to come to me and say, you know what, husband, I don't like the size of my nose right now. I'd like to get it shaved down. And while she's in there, she dies. And then what am I supposed to tell my children? They got these shots now that are for diabetes, but one of the side effects of this shot is weight loss. Now everybody, because of the Kardashians, has turned this shot into a miracle weight loss drug. But yet you don't know the side effects of shooting this poison in your body. You don't know what it. That's not true. He's an amazing. Listen, yes, I'm an amazing father only because I have an amazing wife. All right, let's get that straight right now. I am very lax, and I'm sure you could attest to this. I am very lax at times with the rules. Like my rules are, don't set the house on fire. We're good. So anyway, what kind of husband would I be? And yet my wife's body is perfect to me. You guys run around, and your harshest critic is you, which in turn causes strife and stress in your marriage, thinking and feeling inadequate, like you're not good enough. And in reality, your husband's looking at you like you're the best thing ever. He's not seeing you the same way you're seeing you. Ladies, the outside world does not see you the way you see you. You are your harshest critic. And up until you put yourself on the top of the mountain and say, I am beautiful, and I don't care what you look like. Every last one of you, there's somebody out there for each and every one of you. I don't care what you look like. I don't care how tall, short, fat, skinny, light skin, dark skin, white, yellow. I don't care what color you are. There is somebody out there for you that will look at you exactly the way that God looks at you, exactly the way that He sees you. Not a bit of cream will help you. None of it. Not any makeup, not any body magic, no shoes, no tight dresses that none of those trick jeans that you guys have. None of those things will satisfy you. You'll constantly go on trying to find the next thing and the next thing and the next thing until you sit down and look at yourself in the mirror and say, I am good enough. I am good enough. And if it's something that you have to sit down and look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself over and over and over again until it's finally drilled into your head that you are good enough, then you need to go ahead and do that. Some people need positive affirmation and they need to tell themselves the same thing over and over and over again. And a lot of times what'll happen is This affects your marriage and your relationships because your inadequacy leaks in to other areas of your life. You never fully push yourself as far as you can go. Same thing with the men. What we're not talking about men right now, wife. We're talking about ladies. You'll never push yourself as far as you can go until you get to that point. You'll always be one step back. You need to fully look at yourself in the mirror and say, I love me for me. Every piece of me is perfect. Every piece of me is the way God created me to be. If God wanted me to have a big butt, I'd have one. But chances are God didn't give you one because you wouldn't know how to act with it. Half of you run around trying to look like the Kardashians, and A, you're not even close. B, you're doing things outside of the way you should be doing them just to achieve a look. Men have my bad. Yes, men have the same issues, and you know what men do? Men run around outside of their marriage looking for other women to validate the way he feels about himself, or what he lacks about himself. I don't feel handsome, so I'm going to go out and I'm going to get women to tell me that I am, so I feel as if I am. You guys can't hear me? Can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me, wife? Can somebody tell me if they hear me or not? Hold on, guys. Because I can't tell. Okay, Megan's saying she can hear me. Wife sent the other one. Hold on. Oh, so you can hear me, but of course, wife can't hear me. Probably because she's got the finger over her speaker. So men run around, and what they do is they try to get everybody else to tell them what they're feeling or the things that they lack. And you know where they get that from? They get that from their mother. Their mother did that when they were little. Every little boy goes, yeah, every mother tells their little boy, "You're so handsome. You're the handsomest boy in the world." And as he grows up, what? I, you know, and as he grows up and he is lacking hearing that, he runs around because he doesn't have that self-confidence. He runs around looking for other women to tell him this. What he's telling himself isn't good enough. So, ladies, what you need to do in that department is, if you are married and you have a husband like that, you need to let him know that you think of him the way that he sees himself. Prop him up. What? Okay. Why do you guys keep messing? This door keeps opening up. Uh Wife's a terrible producer. She's in the other room telling me she can't hear me, then can hear me, then all sorts of doors are opening. So, back to what I was saying. So, and now I'm trying to remember what I was saying. Wife, you're the worst. Um so you get men who are looking for certain things that just aren't there. And a lot of times you'll see, who the ones that lack self confidence, the ones that constantly have to be wearing new clothes all the time, constantly out shopping. They every other day they're at the barber shop getting their hair done. Or getting their hair cut. Everything's immaculate from head to toe. Those are telltale signs that there's lack in self confidence there, because a lot of times you don't need that. When you're truly self-confident, you're truly living in that, all those little things don't matter, because what the outside world thinks doesn't matter. I don't know what point we've gotten in the world where we think that everybody else about us, or everybody on the outside's opinion matters about what they think about us. And in reality, it's none of your business what everybody thinks about you. The only thing that really matters is what you think about you. That's the only thing that really counts. Because guess what? Those people could care less about you in reality. All the people that are running around telling you, how great you are, and um, 9 times out of 10, they're only doing something like that because they want something from you. That's usually the case. And we've gotten to the point where we let everybody else's opinion about us influence and shape the way that we think, the way that we dress, the way that we eat, the clothes we buy, the car we drive, all the way down to the food we eat. All the way down to the food we eat. Because God forbid somebody finds out I don't eat organic, which is the biggest scam in the world. Because if you look into that whole organic thing, like, do you know that a chicken only has to have about, I think it's like a 24 by 24 foot square in order to be considered range free? 24 by 24. And I even actually think it's more than that. Or I actually think it's less than that. I think it's 18 by 18. But think about how small that is. Just as long as they have that much room to walk around in, they're considered free range. So then they'll sell you their eggs at twice the price because you think you're helping a chicken, when in reality, you're doing nothing but helping a farmer's pocket. And let's just touch on this real quick. I don't know when we've all gotten so. I'm going to be all over the place here right now. I don't know when we've gotten so stupid. When have we all fell off the stupid wagon? When did that happen? I'm thinking it was right around when the internet came in and people started watching cat videos on YouTube, and everybody just got kind of dumber. Because I'll tell you what, I hear some of the things that my kids listen to, and I hear some of the things that my wife listens to, and I feel stupider by the second every time I'm listening to it. We've gotten to the point where the dumbest things entertain us. The stupidest things occupy our time. When was the last time you actually took the time out to sit down and try to learn something? Truly learn something. And I'm not talking, you don't have to learn a skill. I'm not talking about building a birdhouse or fixing a car, but learning about your history, your past. Because you know what they say about the past. If you don't know it, it will repeat itself. It will repeat itself. It will come back and it will bite you. And to be honest with you, half of us are sitting there trying to live in the past and live in our best years, that our future and our present is non-existent, because we're constantly trying to chase a relationship that we used to have, a feeling we used to have when we were teenagers. Everybody's constantly trying to chase that feeling of their first love, when newsflash, that does not exist. We are not in a cartoon where you fall in love and butterflies and hearts come floating up. Oh, I hear somebody's fingers on the doorknob, and I think somebody's about to come out here and tell me they can't hear me. We sit down and we're chasing these things, and especially love. Love seems to be the biggest one, especially with women. Men, we have a weird version of what we feel and think is love. I tell my wife this all the time. I am like a dog. In reality, like a dog. Covered in hair, woof woof, that type of dog. If you pet me, you feed me, occasionally rub my belly and let me go outside, I will love you forever. Forever. You ever see those dogs that the owner kicks them and hits them and smacks them around all the time, and the dog just still doesn't know any better and keeps running back to him and goes, "Love me. Love me." By the way, those people should all burn in hell. You do this something like that to dogs, you should die a fiery death. There's nothing worse than that. If you are willing to do that to a poor, defenseless dog, you are willing to do that to a woman. If you date a man that is cruel to animals like that, Don't think for 1 second he won't be like that with you, and you need to take off immediately. There are many, 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 many signs that men will give you that he is not the one for you, and you choose to ignore them. But anyway, back to men and their versions of love. Men's love is just like that. If you do those simple things, we'll love you forever. Women, you guys are a little more needy in that department. You actually have watched movies since a child, and you see these things that Disney's painted to you, and that's what you expect. Not all of you. I won't characterize all of you, but a lot of you, let's be honest. Let me quick read this. Make sure I'm yeah, wolf wife. I am with my mom. Never existed at first love. Yes, it all depends. When we stopped having to manually do things and remember phone numbers. Yeah, you know what? That could really be. What are the signs of demand or withholding in a relationship? Wife, why do you always come up with these questions? Let's see. Y'all are hilarious. Yeah, we're something, huh? My main agenda. Okay. So anyway, back to stupidity. So you're scrolling through Instagram. My wife's guilty of this. It drives me nuts. It drives me totally insane when I hear some of the things that she listens to online that she finds hilarious. And my head starts hurting. I feel like I'm losing brain cells. They're dripping off of me by the second. Now, luckily for my wife, a lot of times, she doesn't have to worry about too much, and she can watch those things. I watch documentaries. I'm constantly trying to learn something. If you don't put at least learning one thing new every other day, what do you think you're filling your head with? Because we are what we watch. We are what we consume. What we consume. Are you consuming the right type of stuff? It's the same thing is eating. If you're eating all candy and junk food and garbage, is your body going to be healthy? Absolutely not. So why in the world would you think watching and hearing and listening to garbage 24 hours a day, your mind would be healthy, clean, and clear? And I'm not talking about occasionally listening to uh, s- or indulging in stupid things occasionally. That's not what I'm talking about because there's a place and time for everything. What I'm talking about is actually sitting down, even if it's, listen, and again, not the guy that tells you guys this, but even if it's sitting down with your Bible. Do you know lately at night I've been going to bed? Even if it's, do you know that you retain things, your brain hears things while you're asleep? While you're sleeping. Even if you just put things on to fall asleep to. I've been listening to a lot of things on the men in the Bible every night before bed. Every night before bed, I've been putting on something, a story about a man in the Bible and hearing the things they went through. Because a lot of times you can still, even though this has happened forever ago, you can still match things up in today's world. Nothing changes. It's all secular. Everything's the same. What goes around comes around, and the same thing over and over again. It's the time that changes. It's the haircuts that change. It's the style of clothing that changes. But everything else has all been done. We're doing nothing new. What you did today, somebody did 100 years ago. What you did today, somebody did 1,000 years ago. So you can take all these things that you're learning and reading and apply them and make sure, oh, I read this one time that Noah went through X, Y, and Z. This is kind of similar. Let me either do the same thing he did or do the opposite of what he did to make sure whatever happened in the outcome doesn't happen to me or does happen to me. We run around and want to talk about how we don't have any money, but yet the blueprints are out there and they're set up everywhere for us. to make money. You just have to take the time to learn the skills to do it. It blows my mind that we've gotten to this place in our society today. Everything's flipped upside down. You got men as women being cool with it. You got men running around, regular men dressed like a man, but running around with purses and their nails painted. You got women running around dressed up as men, masquerading as men, but in reality, if they ever came across, see, this is what kills me. You get women that go, I want to be treated like a man. Okay, well, when we get into a confrontation and I beat the hell out of you, don't try to tell me that you're a woman, that you can do everything that a man can do, because it's not true. This thing of equality. Now, do I think that you should not be getting paid the same as men? No. I do think you should. I think that if we go to a regular light work job and we're in an office together and you're sitting in the cubicle next to me and we really aren't doing too much of strenuous anything, then yes, we should make the same. But if I'm on a roof all day long and you're sitting in an office and you somehow think you should make the amount of money that I should make, get out of here. That's just crazy talk. And when they throw these things out at you in the news and they say, well, men make more than women, it's because they're not adding up the things that men do much more strenuous physical labor. They're not telling you all the details. Please stop listening to what's going on in the news, because it's all lies. None of it's true anymore. If you want to know something, do the homework on your own. Go to legitimate sources that are bipartisan, that aren't going to tell you what their party is thinking. Because if you don't think for 1 second there are people behind the scenes that we all don't see, that actually run this country, and they're pushing us all in a herd. We're all like sheep. Let me ask you a question. What did you do during COVID? What did you do? Did you go along with everybody when they said, hey, everyone wear masks? If you don't wear a mask, you're a scumbag. You're going to get your neighbors sick and they're going to die. You can ask my wife this. This is true. I refused. I said I will not be wearing a mask. I won't. I won't do it. I won't do it because guess what? This is all seeming real weird right now, because when they start pumping things at us, all of us, it's all fear. It's all fear based. Everything was fear. Scare you, scare you, scare you. They're still doing it. It's just on different things. I wouldn't wear a mask. I wouldn't adhere to. I'm not the type. If you tell me a rule, I want to know why. Why? And then if you can tell me a logical reason of why, I'll do it. But if you go, oh, because we said so, yeah, I'm not going along with that. That's not going to happen. And if you tell me I can't go into your establishment because I don't have a mask on, that's fine. That's your right. I won't enter. But I'm not going to adhere to anything just because you say so. My son won't. Did I keep my family out of the public during those times? Yes, I did, because I didn't know the severity of it. Once I figured out what was going on and how this was we were all kind of being lied to. And if you haven't gotten news that the whole vaccine thing was just a big scam, if you haven't figured that out yet, you can read it just pretty much everywhere. It's pretty much common knowledge that they kind of duped us. We were lied to. But you need to be asking yourself why. Who benefits from what's going on around me? I do wear a mask, but wife, your phone's the worst. I hate iPhones. I did wear a mask, but ever since I met an angel at a bookstore, I repented and went into my hiding place. That it was a mandate husband, and yes, He's telling the truth. Yeah, it was a mandate, wife, but did I do it? No. I don't care what you mandate. I'm not doing it. Someone else asked me. I'm not with this whole do it. I said, yeah, it's Megan said it's hard to properly vet, but I mean, it's all on what you really believe in. Everything else is chaotic. Hey, wife, I still can't get over looking at your little thumbnail picture. Someone asked me not to wait in there. Yeah, you know what? Listen, guys, I I hate to tell you this. I just had COVID. Okay, and I'm still here. I'm still alive, still breathing. Turns out that it's pretty much nothing but the cold or the flu, depending on how severe the case is. Are there going to be people that die from it? Yes, but there's people that die from everything. They die from flu, they die from chickenpox. They die. When it's your time, it is your time. When it's time to go, it is time to go. God says, "Come on, let's go." Well, you got to go. Period. And of course, I lost the score. So, anyway, wife, you got anything you want to ask me? Anybody got anything they want to ask me before we're heading off? TCL20Z. Oh, sorry guys, speaker went on behind me. Do you guys have anything? Wife, you got anything? I can laugh at you two all day. And ladies and gentlemen, is where my husband and I differ. This is a carnal view of COVID-19. Yes, again, what I think and what I say is not what my wife thinks and what my wife says. I think we've established that. I think we've hammered that point home that what I think and say, who acted like a baby? I did. My wife has this real crazy thing where she says things about me that in reality are really about her. Like it's mind blowing what she thinks. It's crazy. Like she's in there right now acting like somebody's dying, and I had COVID last season and still here today. Yep. See, everybody's still alive. Um, anybody got any questions? Anybody got any thoughts? Here, let me ask you guys a question. What do you guys think of all this gambling stuff that's going on nowadays? I like the differences in the perspective. There's balance. Yes, there is definitely. We see things. Some listen. To be honest with you, some of the things we think are exactly identical. We'll say it at the same time. We'll even laugh about it. But then there's some things that are night and day. And in marriage, you're going to get things like that. And you have some type of people that, and I was one of them at one point where no, 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 no. It's what I'm thinking, what I think is right. As a matter of fact, I can show you proof, science of what I think is right. And that is it. If you don't agree with me, you're wrong. And along the line, I'm not sure exactly when it happened. Actually, I do kind of can pinpoint when it happened. When my wife really flipped me into going, God is really on our side. Because for a long time I thought, oh, God's just this is just a funny thing to God. This is just like a big comedy to him. And letting all these bad things happen to us is just hilarious to him. So I want nothing to do with him. When my wife flipped me over to that's not the case, I was able to change the way I look and saw that you don't have to agree with me on everything. I value your opinion. As a matter of fact, I don't want my wife to think the same way I do. It would drive me crazy. I don't want her to see the same worldview as me because then our picture would be black and white. There'd be no color in it. And without color, there really is no life. Could you imagine walking around every day and everything is in black and white? Because that's what it's like when two people live together and they think the exact same thing. I want my wife to be different. I want her to think different than me. I want her to correct me when I'm wrong. I want her to give her point of view. What are your thoughts? How do you see this? Give me the spiritual view. Because I can dissect and see what's going on in the world through my eyes. I can break it down, but tell me what you're thinking on. And my wife thinks that I think she's crazy. Okay. She thinks that I think that she's nuts. Now, I'm going to tell you guys a secret. I do think she's a bit crazy, but so crazy that it's true. So crazy that it's real. She will paint something out to me, and I will think that, well, not anymore. I used to think, oh, she's nuts. And then what started happening was the nutty things she would saying would start happening. And it didn't happen once. Oh, no, no, no. When it happened the first time, I'm like, oh, wow, she called that. That's crazy that happened. But I still wouldn't go, she's not crazy. It took about 3 times before she started saying stuff. And I started really hearing it and going, oh, she knows what she's talking about. I need to shut up. So now she'll say, you're going to think I'm crazy, husband. And my very first thing out of my mouth is, wife, I don't think you're crazy. Not anymore, anyway. Am I right, wife? And because listen, when you start hearing people talking about witchcraft, what's the first thing that pops into your head? If oh she's crazy isn't the first thing, you're crazy. If that's not the first thing, you should always be skeptical of everything. Always. Be skeptical of everything. That allows your curiosity to actually look into and learn what the other person is saying. If you don't take things skeptically and you don't go, what? I need to look into that. Then something is wrong with you, not them. It's like them saying it's going to snow today, and then you go outside and it's 90 degrees, and you going, oh yeah, okay. Well, how about looking into why they thought it was going to snow today and why it's 90 degrees? All right, you guys are laughing. Not even trying to be funny. It just is what it is. Could you imagine though, like here you are, minding your own business. I just was going to Walmart when I met my wife. I was literally just running into Walmart. I had just came from the barber shop and meeting somebody that later on in life is going to say something about witchcraft. I was minding my own business. Okay? I wasn't hurting nobody. I was doing my thing. Running in there to get God knows what. I don't even remember anymore. It's been so long. And now here I am talking to a woman about witchcraft and actually believing it. That's the crazy part. I actually believe it. Like, yeah, yeah. That's, yep, spot on. Demons are out there. Like, what? What's happened to me? I really look at myself in the mirror sometimes and go, who are you? Where did you come from? Look what she's done to you. I was just going to ask how y'all met. Yep, we met at Walmart. We 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 met at Walmart. I had just came in from I just came out of the barber shop. I was running in to grab something. I seen wife, and I still remember what I have on. I still remember what she had on. I could paint the picture like it was yesterday. Today, that Walmart is closed, which is kind of sad. Um, but um, I walked by her, and she said something to me first. She said, "You look nice." And I said, "Thank you." And I think I said, "So do you." And I went about my business because she had two guys with her. And I didn't, feel like getting into any type of scuffle with anybody over nothing. So, um, went about my business, went over to the candy aisle because I love candy, love it. And there she was standing next to me. I kind of glanced over at her, still went about my business, ended up cashing out. She was in the lane to the right of me, and the two guys had walked away, so there was my chance. So I walked up to her and said, "Hey, is one of those two guys your boyfriend?" She said, "No, it's my little brother and her friend." And boom, there you have it. I said, "Well, wow, well, that's great. Can I have your number?" And even the my wife and I, now we can look back and laugh on it, but we were always in each other's orbits. Like, we were very close to each other for years. We had just never put two and two together and came near each other. Um, and then one day, we end up walking into Walmart and our whole lives change. And three children later, here we are. Best trip to Walmart I ever made. Nobody, I think, ever went into Walmart to get some candy and walked out with a wife. I'm pretty sure I am the only person in Walmart history to do something like that. Um, it was the best decision I ever made. It was, and listen, marriage is hard, guys. It's tough. Like, there's real work. But what is something good if it doesn't come with adversity? You wouldn't appreciate it. Just like they say, if it was sunny every day, you would never appreciate a beautiful day. It would just be another regular day. Nothing would be special about it. And I believe that my wife and I, adversity has built us up to who we are now. Um, we both are complete um, team each other. So no matter what, I know my wife's got my back, and no matter what, she knows that I have her back. But it took a long time to get there. We weren't always like that. It wasn't always easy. It came with a lot of heartache, a lot of tough times, a lot of loss, a lot of all the wrong things you could think of. A lot. But I can hands down tell you that she was 100% the one for me, without a shadow of a doubt. I never take her for granted, ever. I never think of what my life could have been without her. Um, I always make sure that she knows that I love her, that she's loved, because, ladies, you guys sometimes come with um, love baggage that men need to carry. Usually comes from your parents. It's 9 times out of 10 where that comes from. It's deep seated stuff that men carry for you. And make sure that you know that that hole that you had when we met was filled. You never want to leave that hole empty, because that hole always is searching to be filled. Ladies, you fill that hole sometimes with having children with the wrong men. Let's just be honest here and call it what it is. You have a hole in you, and you're looking to somehow fill that hole. Drugs don't fill the love hole. Alcohol doesn't fill the love hole, but children sure will. So you'll have children with the absolute wrong man for you because he sweet talks you, because he says all the right things, and he's temporarily put a patch over that love hole. Then all of a sudden, the real him comes out. Usually it involves cheating, blah, blah, blah. Because if a man isn't willing to marry you and he's trying to tell you that it's a piece of paper, da, 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 he's not the one. You should have never slept with him to begin with. Always ask a man right off rip what are his thoughts on marriage. That should be your first question. Not do you want to marry me? Not that. What are your thoughts on marriage? What kind of environment did you grow up in? Those are the two simplest basic questions you can ask any man that will right away tell you if he is what you're looking for. If he tells you, oh, it was just me and my mom, blah, 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 chances are you need to run. Run fast. Not all the time, but most of the time. Because guess what? He's got a love hole too. Men know how to handle it different than you guys. So your love hole, you'll fill with these children that will love you unconditionally. There's your love hole. There's what you were missing that whole time. Love unconditionally. Not just love, because there's a difference. There's a whole Do you know that the most successful people in the world have very few things in common? Very few things. But one of them is they grew up having love unconditionally. That's one thing they all had in common. It could have been, from mother, father, whoever, but they at least had it. A lot of times, ladies, you feel as if you've never been properly loved unconditionally. And that in leads to having children that will do that for you. So now you've asked a child to do work for you that you don't even realize you asked them to do. You put them on this earth and said, you need to love me unconditionally. Fill this hole for me. Because 9 out of 10 times when that man's having children with you out of wedlock, he's not going to marry you. It's very rare cases that they do. Let me look at the phone. Let's see what you guys are saying in here. Well, said Amelia. Oh, Megan, did you ask a question? A question. What is the one thing you wish you had worked out prior to marriage? Oh. Well, there's a couple things. One of them I'm not going to tell you on here. I'm going to keep some of my personal life personal. But there was a couple of big ones that I wish I would have straightened out prior to. But I did not know how to properly treat my wife. Properly. I did not know how to fully love her. The love that I saw growing up from a husband and a wife had changed throughout the years, and no male around me changed with the times. So I looked at things differently than what I look at them now. So I wish I would have fixed that. I also, hmm, I yeah, there's one real big one that I'm not going to say on here, but there is something that I would have fixed and gotten a hold of things better on. Um, Let's see. Uh, God, I hate iPhones. I don't know how y'all be using these crappy iPhones. They're the worst. No, wife, listen. Having babies out of listen, a lot of times that's what it is. A lot of times, and it's not. I don't want to call it desperation because that's a hard word to use, especially because you don't even realize you're doing it. You don't even know you're doing it. You're just doing it because you want a child. But if you went around and asked single mothers why you had this baby, now that the man is gone, and you said, "Why did you have this baby?" They would all tell you, "I don't know." Or they would put it on the guy. Well, he said, when it takes, see, there's always a double standard thing. They'll put it on the man, but in reality, that's what it was. They were filling that hole. And there is nothing sadder than seeing a young lady struggling because she tried to fill a hole with love from a child, and now she's paying the price of that, trying to fill that hole. It's hard. Listen, my wife will tell you real quick. She couldn't do this by herself. She'll be the first one to tell you. Ask her. It's a whole different ball game when you're raising a child in the house with the father who is actively involved, not just there, because that's not the same thing. I put things off so I can make. I did it today. My son wanted me to see this movie so bad with him. Now I couldn't sit there and watch the whole thing because we got to eat. Okay, we eat what we kill in this house. That's how it goes. If I'm not hunting, we're not eating. I can't sit down and watch a 2-hour movie with you, but I sure can come in and take 15, 20 minutes out and watch certain parts with you that you want me to see. I can, wife is constantly calling me for something, and I drop what I'm doing to make sure that I give her the attention that she needs. My wife needs, that's one of her things. She needs attention. She needs my attention. She needs to know that there'll be times, and she doesn't even realize she's doing this, and I'm putting her business out there. But a lot of times she'll just say husband just to see if I look, just to see if I'll give her the attention. And I'm cool with that. I know my wife. I know her inside and out. I know things about her that she doesn't know about herself, and she knows things about me that I don't realize myself. But I will give whatever my wife needs of me, whatever piece she needs of me, I'll give. I tell her this all the time. If you, for some crazy reason, needed a heart and we couldn't find one, I would give you mine without a second thought. Raise the kids right, and you can have mine. Period. Whatever little pieces of me she needs me to fill her holes, because we all have holes. It's impossible to get through life without having them. If she needs me to take 10 minutes out of my day to sit down and listen to her talk about God knows what, I will. Period. Because you show people their value with your time. You show people their value with their time because monetary things fade off. When I'm gone, my wife's not going to be thinking about the X, Y, and Z I bought her. She's not. She's going to be thinking about the time that I spent, the things that I did. I try to take time out of my day every day to teach my wife something new. Tell her something new. I think yesterday it was, what was it yesterday? I can't remember off the top of my head, but it was something. I do my best to try to do these things because that's what counts is time. People think that's the one thing I've learned throughout being married is that nobody cares about monetary stuff. Do I buy my wife things? Yes, all the time. I buy her things and I don't buy myself anything because I don't want anything. What I want is to see the smile on her face. I don't need those things. Now, I need my wife and my children to have them. I need them to have that smile on their face, but I could care less about all the other stuff. It just doesn't matter to me. It's just things. The things that I enjoy are seeing my wife and my children happy. And a lot of times it's with my time. They want my time. They all want my time. And I will be happy to give it to them. Does it get aggravating? Yes, sometimes it does. I'm going to lie to you. Sometimes it gets very aggravating, especially when I'm trying to get stuff done. And they go, here's an example. Husband, yeah. Yeah. Wife, huh? You just called me. I did. Yes, you did. And I'll go back off to do what I'm doing. She just wanted to see if I would answer. Do you know how aggravating that gets sometimes? But I do it because she needs to know that I'm here no matter what. You call me, I come. Let's say you're fulfilled. Yes, I am. I am very, very, very. Yes. I pray my future husband can hunt. Maybe we can have a farm. Listen, you want to make sure that your husband. Here's, ladies, I feel like a lot of times you marry okay. I feel like sometimes you marry idiots because it's somebody there to marry. When in reality, if you would sit down and ask them the proper questions and vet them correctly, a lot of times you guys can save yourself a lot of heartache and a lot of heartbreak in 30 minutes. 30 minutes is all it takes. You could save yourself a world of pain. First of all, stop looking at color. Do not let that be what you miss your future husband on. Don't let it happen. It's it's 2024. If you're going to run around and believe what the world is saying about racial division and worrying about what other people think about who's on your arm, guess what? If that right person comes up to that person that's judging you and that right person steps up to them, they won't care either. I can promise you. Oh, you're not going to marry me because I literally have every attribute you want, but I'm Chinese. I have everything on your list. I check all the boxes, but I'm Chinese, and that's why. Then chances are that Chinese man that's talking to this woman will go, thank God she told me that because there's another woman out there that would love what I have to offer. Stop seeing things in color. Just it if I could say that's the if that's not the number one most stupidest thing on the list of stupid things, that's sure is number two. Ask them what they know how to do. Do you know how to hunt? Where'd you grow up? The country. Oh, guess what? 9.9 men out there that grew up in the country is gone hunting. They know how to hunt. Most of them know how to grow their own food. Most of them know how to cultivate land. Most of them want to go back there because once you get a taste of the city, it lasts very, very quickly. That fades off real fast. You know how if you have long hair, you want short hair. If you have short hair, you want long hair. It's similar to that. I grew up out in the country. Okay. and I got my fill of the city, and I never want. And I used to tell my wife we're never leaving the city, not ever. Then I got to a certain age. I'm like, oh, I hate this. My kids need to grow up out in the country. It's a different life out in the country. Ask a man. You know how to work on a car? Do you know how to fix a roof? Do you know how to fix things? Tell me about your parents, tell me about your father, your grandfather. A lot of times that's where it comes from. You'll learn a lot about a man. You can literally pick and choose the questions you're going to ask based on what you're trying to accomplish in life. And then don't settle for it. Anything less than what's on your list. Don't. Ladies, you hold the hand of cards. A lot of times I don't say the things that I'm thinking on here because I don't want to get yelled at. So I'm going to skip saying what you guys hold, but you know what you hold. So use it to your advantage and find the right one. Don't just settle for whatever's out there just because he's giving you attention. A lot of times, ladies, you'll just snap up for attention. Then you fall for the first idiot that gives you their time. When in reality, you don't realize not only is he giving you time, he's giving her time and her time and her time. Be patient. Yes, Megan, ask those questions. You know how to do you like what are your hobbies? What do you like to do? What do you know how to do? Yeah, dating with the like it's mind-blowing that people actually in 2024 still think a long race. Like we need to be better. We need to do better. What's wrong with dating somebody outside of your race that literally will give you a lifetime of happiness? Will show you can show you a different way of life, and you can show him a different way of life. My wife and I are stronger together because she went down one path and I went down another path when we were younger. Then we met in the middle. Now I'm here to teach my wife the things that she doesn't know, and my wife can tell me things that she grew up with. Her differences. Our differences are what makes us strong. My wife can camp now. My wife can build a fire better than I can. I'll be the first one to admit it. We go out camping, my wife can start a fire like you wouldn't believe. Do you think for 1 second she knew how to do that before she met me? Do you think for 1 second that she would actually help me that she would know how to help me put a tent up? Because when we camp for real. Now there have been times that we've, gotten cabins and stuff, but I'm the type that my son needs to see what camping really is. Do you think that she knew how to do any of these things before she married me? She didn't. But she learned a different way of life. So can each one of you by meeting somebody that's different than you. Now, I'm not saying if you meet a person of your same skin tone that and he checks all those boxes for you, I'm not saying don't do it. That no, do it. Do it. Absolutely. But don't not do it because he's not. That's the dumbest thing I ever heard. All right, ladies, we're about to wrap this up, ladies and gentlemen. Um, it just hate bug my husband. Gonna have to. Yep, you'll get over the bug thing after a while. Anybody got any questions? Because we're about to end this. I think I yelled at you guys enough tonight. And I was kind of all over the place. We've been here for an hour. I said I was only going to do like 30 minutes, and here I am. I got work to do. See, even still, right now, I took the time out to be here, not for anybody but my wife, to make sure that she knows I'm here for her no matter what. No matter what happened, what's going on, what the time is, what I have going on, I'll drop it and do whatever it is you need me to do. That's what love is. That's what true, real love is. Not going, well, and most of the time, these men nowadays, they, most of the time are huffing and puffing because they're playing video games. If you meet a man and he tells you, well, I love to play, I'm a gamer. Yeah, that's that's a huge red flag. Huge red flag. You were grown at, let's see. I would say the video game controller needs to go away once you've turned about 25. If he's younger than 25 and he's still playing video games, okay, he's got a little time still. Anything after that, he needs to go. Let's see. Appreciate you for coming on for us. Not a problem. Oh, if you both like video games, then cool. But what I'm talking about, that's totally different than what I'm talking about. If you both like video games and that's what you bond over, that's super dope. And you guys should both do it. What I'm talking about is I have no job because I like to play video games. Believe it or not, I know grown men like that. Or I can't do what you're asking me to do right now because I'm playing video games. I can't go X, Y, and Z because I need to be here playing this game. Now, if you both enjoy it, then that is something that's super dope and that you both should absolutely 100% do. All right. Okay, y'all. I'm wrapping it up for tonight. I hope you guys have a great week. Stay safe. Try to learn something new this week. Anything. I'm going to ask y'all next live if any of you have even attempted to, even if it's just sitting down and putting a documentary on before you go to sleep. Because believe it or not, your brain retains these things. You know that you can go on YouTube and you can pull up um, somebody reading the Bible with the sound of rain behind them. There's a whole bunch of different ones. There's music, soft music. There's the rain one. There's campfires. There's sitting next to streams. And if that don't put you to sleep, I don't know what will. But it allows your brain to take in these things. Even if you're jumping in the car and putting on an audiobook and just listening to it as you go, try to learn something new. Try to learn something new. So it doesn't have to be anything big. It could be something very, very small. But the more you're learning, the more you're growing. The more you're growing, the better you will feel about you. Remember, other people's opinions don't mean a damn thing. What other people's opinions of you that they have of you is their business, not yours. A lot of times they are shining their insecurities on you, putting you down. And that's all I got for tonight. Everybody have a great night. I will talk to you soon.